Hello and welcome to another episode of the Red Pill Australia. Today I'm going to talk about the increasing price of living. So recently I went to the supermarkets and saw the prices of some vegetables. They were ranging from, cheap to quite expensive. One of the huge, biggest, most ridiculous price thing I saw at the Richie's in Seaford was a kilogram of chilies was for $50. I'll show you some pictures from when I went across to Kringle and the pictures from the IGA to see the outrageous prices. It's across the board. Here we see some images from IGA first. Look how expensive this stuff is. It's quite expensive. So then I went to Coles. They weren't as bad, but there was still some overpriced stuff. And then I went to Woolworths. As we can see, the prices are quite horrendous. This is concerning, because the cost of living is going up too now. We're seeing our energy prices are going up by 5% here in Victoria from the 1st of July till sometime in 2023, which means that electricity is going to be a bit more expensive, which means more money will be dedicated to electricity and won't be enough money for food, which means people have to modify their budgets. This is getting to the point where we should be starting to think about growing our own veggies, because we're going to get ripped off by the supermarkets, and with the current floods and sudden floods that should have been predicted and planned for, now everything's going to become a bit more expensive. Luckily, food such as bread hasn't spiked yet, but pay attention to the price increase, because it's coming. Soon there won't be enough money for food. Next will water, and they're just going to choke us. Because of lockdowns and these vaccine mandates, which are gone soon here in Victoria, no one's been able to work and they've been trying to get through. But with these current rises in prices, no one's going to have money to pay rent or pay bills. People are going to go berserk and not think. Because when you got kids and you need to feed them, and food's so expensive and they can't afford it, how will they feed their kids? Which means people will go to when they should be thinking rational, they're going to go to the irrational thought because it's food. It's not just water and energy that will go up too. It's gas prices are skyrocketing here too. Did you know 80% of Australians' gas is exported to other countries? Like coal. Like every other natural resource. We get a little bit, but the rest of it is shipped off to other countries. Like China. Which means there's nothing here for us. And petrol prices could be solved and made cheaper here in Australia if we reopened the oil refineries. A long time ago, there was a few oil refineries here in Australia. BP used to be a very big petrol station. But since they've shut down the plants, we've been relying on other countries to export oil to us. But now we're in as petrol prices become higher, transport of goods is going to become much harder, and we're seeing the collapse of the world. In America, there's not a lot of food on shelves. It's beginning in America. It's beginning across the world. Because of this pandemic, there is so much debt. But the question is, what debt? How do countries owe money to other countries? This is concerning because if we do not act and put plans in place, no one's going to be able to afford anything, and people are going to resort to looting other people for food, for shelter. And then it's just going to be like, the fit will survive, the weak will perish. And we don't want this. Society is about to fall. And if society falls, then how can we've seen this. We can live through it. We need to put plans in place and start making stuff in Australia for Australians, not the rest of the world. Forget the rest of the world. They're old. They're so old, and they've caused so much of this trouble for themselves. At least we still have enough natural resources to save ourselves, and we should stop relying on other countries like China. Because all China wants is Australia for their own gain. How much land do they actually own in Australia? So much. So do other countries hold stakes in Australia. But if they're on the other side of the world, how can they own land? It's not right. It's time we told them to go back to their own countries and make land for Australians, not the rest of the world. Stop shipping off so much exports to other countries because we're rich in minerals and natural resources. Enough is enough. We need to think about Australia, not the rest of the world. Are we in China or America? No, we're not. We're in Australia. So we need to think and fend for ourselves. Because once food becomes scarce, people will go insane. This is the world we're living in right now. And we best be ready when it does. Because the bush is starting to look like a really good idea. If civilization is going to fall, then that would be the smartest place. Rebuild. Forget the old ways. Bring in new ways that have not been seen for many years. Resort to finding food ourselves, not relying on shops. It's time to fix this world, and it needs to happen soon, otherwise we're all going to be slaves. You see it in places where war-torn countries that are poor. Africa. How many of these big chains need to be closed? So many. Look at Russia. I heard that they've pretty much, since McDonald's has left their country, a new chain has taken over, similar to McDonald's, but a Russian version. And I think that's really good. Because so many of these chains control so much of what we eat. It's time to make healthy food cheaper, and junk food like McDonald's, KFC, Hungry Jack's, all of them, no matter what their name is, more expensive. That's why people buy junk food, because it's cheap. But no one buys healthy food because it's expensive. It's time to find a new solution. It's time to rebuild this world and make it wonderful. Right for everyone. And it's time to rebuild. Thank you for listening. Please do your own research on this. Pay attention to fuel prices. Pay attention to everything around you. It's time to wake up the world and time to fight for our freedom. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next episode. And please leave a comment and let me know what you want to hear about.